AEW Rampage on Friday night this past week drew their lowest ratings in show history. I believe it was 361,000 viewers on TNT. We've been kind of talking about this for a while, but the fact that the audience is now still declining, they're doing nothing to make anyone want to see that show. Does that show existing there help or hurt AEW?
I think it's embarrassing at this point. And I think it hurts them with the network. Because here's a show that wasn't even part of the deal originally, and they got it because they had to switch the network because of the hockey, blah, 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 chase the cat that ate the rat. You know that story. But point is, they gave, okay, here's this show, right? And also the Battle of the Belts, for fuck's sake. They gave them extra programming, and they put stuff in those time slots that has literally lost between 50 and 75% of the audience. The last time they did a Battle of the Belts, I think it was it roughly or maybe more half of the audience of the first one. And Rampage, as we know, started with the return of CM Punk at 1.2 million. They just did 300,000. That's 75% of the audience they started with. And of course, it was an artificially inflated start. But my God, how can you explain when it became a regular show, it was still doing 500 or 600, and then it became 5 and 4 and now 3. Nobody gives a shit because it's dreck. The shows are rotten. And it doesn't have to be that way. There are people on that roster. When we did the roster, hold on here. Where is my goddamn roster? We came up with is there 26 lines on a piece of notebook paper? We came up with 30 names here that I would keep off that roster. How often do you see FTR work on Dynamite? Never. It's a joke. We know why. Because of the Buckaroos.
Oh, by the way, I want to answer a question you asked the other day. We were talking about the fact that you never see FTR on Dynamite. You only see Dax wrestle solo matches, which he loses. And you said, has he ever won one? He did. He won one singles match on Dynamite against Cash Wheeler.
That's right. The only person he could beat was his partner. We don't see Jay Lethal wrestle a lot. The Guns. Give them some experience. Claudio, Hobbs. What happened to Hook? There are guys that you could put into programs from week to week, doing interviews and having matches with disputed decisions that might lead to a rematch on that Friday night show, and at least try to develop a viewership for it. And then, VTR some things back on Wednesday nights so that the bigger audience, just barely, knows that it's not just a collection of bullshit title matches with every belt that Tony can collect with nobodies that we don't give a fuck about seeing and ain't going to see anymore, and just cold matches that are promoted 2 days ahead of time with a graphic on Dynamite. Program the thing like a wrestling show of the old days, where from week to week, things happen between people that make logical, chronological sense. And try that. But regardless, it can't look good for AEW. I'm not even talking about the publicity on the websites where the fans read that the ratings are down. I'm talking about with the network, where they have given this company an hour of time, still in prime time, still between 8 and 11 o'clock, and they can't get 300 and something thousand people. That's down below. There were episodes of Dark Side of the Ring on Vice TV that drew more than Rampage did last Friday on the TNT network. Bueller! That can't look good. And the viewer attrition can't look good. That all these shows, and I'm not even excluding or talking exclusively about AEW now, the viewer attrition the other night from Raw can't look good for their network. But not only the fact that fewer people are watching these programs, but that more people are tuning them out. And I mean, I never thought I'd see the day that a wrestling program wouldn't outperform its lead-in, but boy, howdy, here we are from every company. So, no, I think it's embarrassing. Either do something with that hour that you've been given, make a legitimate attempt at it. Give that to somebody else. If somebody on your goddamn, hold on here, the coaches that they've publicly said that Christopher Daniels, Dustin Rhodes, Frankie Kazarian, The Big Show, Sanjay Dutt, and William Regal were coaches. Well,
and there's others they've named actually since that time.
Well, yeah, but how about this? Give goddamn Dustin Rhodes Friday Night Rampage. Book this thing with all the good workers that can talk and have serious matches, and it just see what happens after 8 weeks. It can't get any worse.
They should make it a studio show. Give it a completely different feel and a different look than Dynamite. Don't tape it right after Dynamite. Tape it at a different time on a different day and give it a different kind of feel so someone flipping through the channels will go, what is this? And give it a chance. Because it feels like just another show. And that's before you get to the matches no one cares about.
And again, Dustin Rhodes would probably be able to figure out which guys can actually work. I'm not talking about giving people practice on national TV. I'm not talking about using the students. I'm talking about who on this fucking roster can work and can talk. Who are actual serious professional wrestlers. Give me some Samoa Joes, maybe some Swerve. What the fuck is Miro doing since he became a beast? We haven't seen him again. Give me some Jay Lethal. Give me the Gun Boys to be an annoying heel tag team. And, I was good. Kyle O'Reilly, who knows if he'll ever wrestle again. We haven't seen him in ages, or Adam Cole, whatever the fuck. But guys that can fucking wrestle. Powerhouse Hobbs. He looks like he's ready to go now, even though he needs experience. And just pick your 14 or 16 guys like a territory and book it like a territory. And maybe nothing else exists outside AEW Rampage. And I wonder if they'd actually start picking up viewers. If you saw the same 16 guys every week doing something that made some fucking sense, having some decent matches and talking like they were serious, and goddamn do a few DQs and a couple of disputed finishes that leads to goddamn rematches. And over 8 weeks, just see if you could pick anybody else up. Anyway, it can't get any worse. At what point does the network cancel when you don't have 300,000 people barely watching on one of the TBS networks? At what point do they say, well, we're idiots.